What's going on, my Klumzy gamers? Klumzy from Klumzy Gaming here. I do apologize. I gotta postpone my Let's Play of Titanfall 2. My capture software is not working correctly right now. But for anybody who has played card games, I am gonna make some deck profiles for Yu-Gi-Oh! I am a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm a big fan of the franchise. I do enjoy making decks. I don't play in tournaments or anything like that right now, but I would like to do so in the future. These deck profiles are going to be really simple. They're budget friendly because, I'm poor. This video is brought to you by No Name Nerd and Pyre Supplements. I would like to thank them because they're the first ones who actually gave me a shot. So, No Name Nerd actually, if I could get this out of the way, No Name Nerd actually has custom gaming jerseys. So these gaming jerseys they range in all sorts and sizes. They have all kinds of different designs. One I actually have created though is my own right here. It's a simple. I am a big fan of Gundam, so I have Gundam Exia's head frame right here on my chest, my nickname on my back, and the year I was born right here as the number. So there's actually a bunch of different ways you can customize your jerseys. You guys could add your own images. You guys could add your own designs, things like that. You guys could put your pages on them if you'd like. They actually start off pretty cheap. They're at $20. I believe with the design and stuff like that, it goes up to about 30. But it's actually a really decent price for really good material on the clothing. Now, if you do want a discount, you use the promo code Klumzy Gaming, which will be on the description, and you'll get 10% off your purchase as well. So just remember, these are custom jerseys. They're really good material, and you guys can customize them however you'd like, as well as Pyre. Pyre is also an affiliate I just got last week. They have apparel, supplements, game gears, things like that. So they have mouse pads. They have, I believe, a headset and a mouse. But one of the things I actually like is God Mode. I actually have God Mode Lethal Lime, which is going to be, where is it at? It's going to be right here on the God Mode Focus. I have this one, Lethal Lime. Lethal Lemonade, I'm sorry, my mistake. I actually have tried this for about 3 days now, and honestly, it works really well. I don't feel jittery. I don't feel wired. I feel actually pretty good about it. But honestly, with the same promo code Klumzy Gaming, you also get a 10% discount on this product as well. So please support the channel, support me, support Pyre and No Name Nerd, and you'll get some good discounts and some quality products as well. So thank you for listening, and let's get on to the deck profiles. So I'm going to be adjusting the camera every so often. This is the first time I'm recording, so I do apologize about that. Now, let's start off with the extra deck. The extra deck, for those of you who don't know, is about 15 cards, give or take. You can't have any more than 15 cards. But for those of you who do know the game, I'm actually going to start off with my Blue Eyes deck. So, the first card I run in my extra deck is Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. So, Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, its effect is if this card is special summoned until the end phase. Oops, sorry about that. Until the end phase of your next turn, neither player can target dragon monsters you currently control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Once per turn, during your standby phase, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So he's actually a really good trade-off for what you get for him. He's a 9-star light dragon, and Blue Eyes is actually an 8-star dragon. So him with a 1-star tuner, you could get him out very easily, and he is a good staple of the deck. He has about 2,500 attack, 3,000 defense, and I only run one of him. So the next one, his name is Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. He's at 2,700 attack, 2,000 defense. This card is a little bit trickier to get out. Because of the requirements. You need 1 tuner and 2 non-tuner monsters, and he is a 9-star. So him, it's a little bit trickier to get off, but when you get him off, he is very useful. When this card is synchro summoned, you can banish up to 1 card, each from your opponent's hand, field, and or graveyard. The card in the hand is chosen at random, so you can't see them. You can't see the card in their hands. Obviously, you got to play with the hand closed. But he does help out a lot when you have a board that's unbreakable. In Yu-Gi-Oh terms, an unbreakable board, it's basically big monsters on the field that you can't get rid of. That you can't get rid of by destruction, so you have to banish them. You have to get them out of play in general. So I actually love the way this card looks. I actually pulled this card in a booster pack. I believe it was Battle Legends Lights Revenge, I believe. It's a secret rare. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but it looks really nice. The next card. Oh, I do apologize about the mess on my keyboard. I need to clean it. The next one is Stardust Spark Dragon. He's at 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense. He is an 8-star synchro, which is pretty easy to get off. His effect is once per turn, quick effect. You can target one face-up card you control, and once during this turn, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So, if you need some protection, you need to stall them. This is actually a good card to go into. Next is a card I actually got from my buddy. He gave me this gold rare Black Rose Dragon. It's very subtle and it's very pretty. I do apologize, my phone is going off, so I should probably silence that. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. So, basically what this card does is once you synchro summon it, you blow up the field. It does have a secondary effect. You can banish one plant type monster from your graveyard, then target one defense position monster your opponent controls. Change the target to face up attack position, and if you do that, its attack becomes 0 until the end of the turn. I don't really use its secondary effect. I use its primary. From when it's synchro summoned, you blow up all cards on the field at once. So that's actually very useful for when they have a very big beat stick. A beat stick is basically a monster with high attack but no protection. So this one is at 2,400 attack and 1,800 defense. Next is Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. I use this card mainly for its primary effect. Its secondary effect I would use in a pendulum deck. Pendulum decks I will get into later on in the future if I do make more deck profiles. But its first one is when this card is special summoned, you can target one card in your pendulum zone. It is I'm sorry about that. It is special summon. Also, this card cannot attack for the rest of this turn. But I use its second effect mainly. It goes, you can only use this effect once per turn. Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. Once per turn, monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects during the battle phase. So during the battle phase is basically when monsters, they start beating each other up. And a lot of them have effects nowadays. In old school Yu-Gi-Oh, they were more vanilla. Vanilla means no effect. And monsters were usually beaten over by other monsters. But now that we're at modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, every single monster has an effect. If your monster doesn't have an effect, it doesn't belong in your deck. Not being able to activate your effects during the battle phase is actually a big crippling hit to the opponent because they can't activate their effects. So that means that we get to take them out of the field. This one is at 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense, and he is a 7-star synchro. So I do run 2 copies of this card, Vermilion Dragon Mech. So Vermilion Dragon Mech is once per turn, you can banish. Oh, sorry about the lighting. It just changed for a second. Once per turn, you can banish one card from your hand, and Once per turn, you can banish one tuner from your hand, graveyard, or face up on the field. Then target one card your opponent controls destroyed. If this synchro summon card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished tuners and add it to your hand. So, if this card gets blown up by any way, the tuner that you actually banished, you can add it back to your hand, and that's why I used 2 copies of it, so I could be able to bring out the second one. So next is number 39, Utopia. Utopia is very simple. He requires 2 level 4 monsters. When a monster declares an attack, you can detach one of the materials and negate the attack. You could do this twice, but when this card has no XYZ material, basically when no monsters are left with it, you have to destroy this card. Next is my beat stick. So this is actually my beat stick for my XYZs. It's a level 8 beat stick. It's 4,000 attack, 3,000 defense. So this card, I believe it is. If this card attacks, it attacks or is attacked during the damage step by either players, you can detach one XYZ material. From this card, once per battle, this card gains attack equal to the combined level of all XYZ monsters currently on the field. So, basically, you could make him really hard to beat over. And that's what I use him for. Basically, when I need a very big monster on the field, so I could help crash everything else out. Alright, now next is First of Dragons. This one is more or less a contingency plan. This card can't be destroyed by battle by anything else other than a normal monster. And is unaffected by monsters' effects. So, this card is really good to get on the board, but he does require 2 normal monsters to get out. But he does come in handy when those situations do happen, when your opponent has a very effect-heavy deck. Ooh, as you can see, I have God Mode over there. So, like I said, I trust God Mode. God Mode is amazing. And my Breton and my Nord. And my Super Nintendo deck box. So, the next one is BlueEyes Twin Burst Dragon. So, this card is mainly the fusion I go into whenever I need to. You don't need to use polymerization or anything like that. He gets summoned out by something we call contact fusion. Basically, what happens is that when you use 2 BlueEyes White Dragons as its materials, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters each turn during the battle phase. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked a monster and the monster was not destroyed, that monster is banished instead. So this card is very handy, but you need 2 BlueEyes White Dragons to bring him out. But once you see the monsters in this deck, you're going to see why it's so easy to bring him out. So, I have BlueEyes Ultimate Dragon. So a lot of old school Yu-Gi-Oh fans, they are going to know what this card is. They're going to say, why do I have him in the deck? He's useless, but I beg to differ. The main reason why is because of the next card coming up. Because this next card is my ultimate contingency plan. This is for when it really hits the fan and I cannot win. And that would be 3 copies of Neo BlueEyes Ultimate Dragon. So, Neo BlueEyes Ultimate Dragon, you do have to fusion summon with 3 BlueEyes White Dragons. And at the end of the damage step, if this is the only face-up card I control, this card and this fusion summon card attacked once, you can send 1 BlueEyes fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard and they can attack again in a row. You can use this effect up to 3 times. Up to twice, I'm sorry. During either player's turn, when a card effect is activated that targets BlueEyes monsters you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate the activation. So basically, when he's on the field, I can banish my other BlueEyes Ultimates, and he can attack again. But also, by sending those other BlueEyes Ultimates, he gains a negation effect. So this is actually very handy. And ooh, I'm just seeing how pretty this looks. Wait. Gold rare. Oh, it looks nice, but not as pretty as the other one. Alright, time to get into the actual deck. So, this deck is very spell heavy and very monster heavy. I have no traps in this deck whatsoever. But, let's start off with a simple spell. Dragon's Mirror. Dragon's Mirror is very simple to use. You banish your monsters from play from your side of the field or your graveyard as fusion material. That is what I use to bring out Neo BlueEyes Ultimate Dragon. This is my contingency card. It is very easy to get this card because I have a lot of draw power and a lot of search power in my deck. But again, this card is if it hits the fan. Next, I have 1 copy of Dragon Revival Rhapsody. If you control a spellcaster, you can target up to 2 dragon monsters from your graveyard, including at least 1 normal monster, and special summon them. Your opponent takes no damage this turn, and you can only activate Dragon Revival Rhapsody once per turn. So the reason I only run 1 is because I already have a lot of cards that act as if a monster reborn. Next is Diffusion. So let's say I do need the materials from BlueEyes Twin Burst back on the field in order to get something else out. I use this card in order to basically take it apart and put another card out on its place. So that would be my 2 BlueEyes White Dragons. Silver's Cry is my next card. I run one of them. Target one Dragon Normal monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. You can only activate one Silver's Cry per turn. So this one again, that's why I only run one of it, because I have other cards that act as Monster Reborn. The OG, the original Gangsta Killer. It's a magic card, not a spell card. Monster Reborn. Basically, you get to bring back one monster from the graveyard for no cost. It's very handy. Now, next is Return of the Dragon Lords. So, Return of the Dragon Lords, I run one of. I target one level 7 or 8 Dragon type monster. My graveyard special summon it. Now, it has a secondary effect when you're in the graveyard. If a Dragon type monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. So, basically, it protects my dragon. So next, it's basically the Foolish Burial of Dragons. So those of you who don't know what Foolish Burial does, Foolish Burial takes one card out of your deck, which is a monster, and sends it to the graveyard. The reason why it's so handy is because it lets you draw more the cards you need a lot faster. So I usually run one because I get to send 2 cards to the graveyard, because I would send one normal monster and then one effect monster. I usually combo it with Dragon Spirit of White and White Stone of the Ancients, which you'll see later on in this video. You can only activate one per turn, but I only need one total. Now, this card I run 2 of. The Melody of Awakening Dragon. I discard one card and add up to 2 dragon monsters with 3,000 or more attack and 2,500 or less defense from my deck to my hand. So this is one of my strongest searchers in the deck, because I get to pick out basically what dragons I want in my hand. Now, these 2 cards are also very good. Ancient Rules. You get to special summon one level 5 or higher monster from your hand. So basically, I get to spit out a BlueEyes White Dragon without paying anything. Now, I also run 2 Chaos Forms. For those of you who don't know what Chaos Form does, I have to pay with one level 8 or higher, with one level 8 monster in order to bring out one of my BlueEyes Chaos Dragons. There's 2 Chaos Dragons. There's BlueEyes Chaos Max and BlueEyes Chaos Dragon. So I will actually show you those cards in a second. So on to the monsters. So I run 3 of what are called hand traps. The first is Effect Veiler. The second is Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. And the third is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So each one of these does different things. So Effect Veiler basically negates the activation of an effect on the field until the end of the turn. So this card is very handy when your opponent has a monster on the field and you need to negate the effect in order to survive one more turn. The next one, so whenever your opponent actually wants to add a card from the graveyard to or the extra deck, basically any graveyard play, this card will negate the activation, and she's very pretty too. So the next one is Ash Blossom, the original artwork, but I got it from Dual Power. This one is when your opponent adds a card from the deck to the hand, or special summons from the deck, or sends a card from the deck to the graveyard, which is very common. I negate that completely. Now, on to my 2 Eyes of Blue cards. Well, not just total Eyes of Blue, but these 2 cards are the only ones I have one of, because they are only useful as a 1. Master with the Eyes of Blue and Sage with the Eyes of Blue. So these 2 combo very well together. So basically what these cards do is they let me bring out BlueEyes from the, I believe this one, it lets me bring out BlueEyes from the deck. Let me see. Oh no. So Master with Eyes of Blue lets me special summon a Blue Eyes from the graveyard, and Sage with Eyes of Blue lets me summon from the hand. So these cards are actually very well because they combo well into each other, because I could use this card's effect to send him to the graveyard, and then I could use his effect to send this card to the graveyard, and bam, they'll combine very well, and I'll have 2 Blue Eyes out on the field. So these are very useful, and they are also what we call tuners. They let me bring out the white frame cards, which we call synchros. I do apologize about the camera moving so much. Next card. A lot of Blue Eyes users will recognize this card right off the bat. Her name is Maiden with Eyes of Blue. So Maiden with Eyes of Blue is basically untouchable. If your opponent tries to do anything involving this one card, you get a free Blue Eyes. They try to attack you, you get a free Blue Eyes. They try to target her with a card effect, you get a free Blue Eyes. So basically anything that happens to her, you get a free Blue Eyes. So, she's useful. And she's a tuner. So, yeah. Next one is the King of D. I have 2 of him. The reason why I have 2 of him is because I usually use him for search plays and synchro plays when I need to bring out Trishula. So, he's level 4, which is very useful because it's fodder that I can actually work with. So, this card's name becomes Lord of Dragons. While on the field, you can discard 1 spell card and search out 1 Flute of Summoning Dragon, Melody of Awakening Dragon, or Dragon Revival Rhapsody. I only run Dragon Revival Rhapsody and Melody of Awakening Dragon. So this card actually helps me search out those 2 cards, which is very useful. So now on to my dragons. So my dragons, I'm going based off of the least useful to most useful. So the least useful one would actually be Deep Eyes White Dragon. So Deep Eyes White Dragon, whenever a Blue Eyes Dragon monster is destroyed, he gets sent out to the field, and he gains their attack. And for however many dragons I have in the graveyard, with different names, my opponent takes damage. So this is more of a just in case something happens and I need something out on the board to protect me for a turn. That's what he's there for. Next is Blue Eyes Solid Dragon. So Blue Eyes Solid Dragon is actually very handy. I usually bring him out with White Stone of Ancients. If this card is normal summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent currently controls and negate its effects. So usually it's just to make sure that your opponent can't activate its effects at all. And then when your opponent activates a spell, I believe it's a spell or trap. Let me check. Oh, when your opponent activates a card effect, I could send this card back to my deck and bring out a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So that's Blue Eyes Solid Dragon. Now, onto my White Stone of Ancients. So this is my ultimate recycler. So White Stone of Ancients, actually, when it gets sent to the graveyard, which I use Dragon Shrine for, he gets to summon out a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So no, actually a Blue Eyes monster. So that includes Dragon Spirit of White. That includes Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Alternative. All these cards are always treated as Blue Eyes monsters, so I can bring them out with this card. Also, I can banish this card from the graveyard and add 1 Blue Eyes monster from my graveyard to my hand. So he works really well with recycling and Dragon Shrine. He is also a tuner, so his effect can also kick off with this deck profile. So this next one is kind of adorable. I have 2 of him. It's Kid Moto Dragon. So Kid Moto Dragon, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 dragon type monster from your hand. You can add special summon monsters except dragon monsters the turn you activate this. You cannot special summon monsters except dragon type monsters. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. You can only use this effect once per turn. But this card is very good, very useful because usually I'll have a dragon in my hand. In order to use its effect. Next is Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon. So the reason I have this card in my deck is because he's a target for a Melody of Awakening Dragon. And also, all I have to do is tribute 1 level 5 monster. If this card is tribute summoned, you can destroy 1 monster your opponent currently controls. And if you do inflict damage equal to that monster's original attack, When this card destroys a monster by battle, you can special summon one level 5 or higher monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position except itself. So this card is very good when you need something immediate that you need to do damage. So this card is also a very good target for Melody of Awakening Dragon when all your Blue Eyes cards are in the graveyard. Now, next is Dragon Spirit of White. Dragon Spirit of White is very useful when he's brought out to the field. He's always treated as a normal monster. When he's brought out to the field, he actually banishes one of your opponent's back row, which are his spell and traps, which is very useful because you never know what your opponent has. Also, when your opponent has a monster, you could sacrifice this card to tribute it and bring out one Blue-Eyes White Dragon from your hand. Next are BlueEyes Chaos Max Dragon and BlueEyes Chaos Dragon. These cards work very well in unison. That's why I have 2 Chaos forms for each one of these cards. So the one right here, this one changes the monsters to defense position and changes their defense to 0. This one, on this side, this one attacks defense position monsters and does double piercing damage. So this one's at 4,000 attack. If it does piercing damage, that's 8,000 life points. That's game. Now, both of these cards are unaffected by card effects and cannot be targeted by card effects. So as soon as they are brought out to the field, oh no, my mistake, they cannot be targeted by card effects. They can be affected by, oh wait. No, they cannot be destroyed by card effects. Nice. But they can be banished, which is unfortunate, but they work really well together. So unless your opponent has something to banish them with, they work well together. Next, I have 2 BlueEyes Alternative White Dragons. So the reason why I have 2, everybody tells me I should run 3. I actually borrowed a buddy of mine's BlueEyes Alternative White Dragon to make a playset. But whenever I had 3, one was always dead in my hand, and I couldn't really use it too much. But this card is very useful with a Blue-Eyes deck. So basically, you special summon him by revealing one Blue-Eyes White Dragon, and then you get to bring him out to the field. So its other effect is whenever he's out on the field, you can target one card your opponent controls. I'm sorry, one more second. This card, oh yeah, that's right. This card's name becomes Blue-Eyes White Dragon while it's on the field. Then I can target one monster my opponent controls and destroy it, but it cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. But because its name is treated as Blue-Eyes White Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard, you can also activate Dragon's Mirror as for material, or you can Contact Fusion for Twin Burst. So these cards are very useful with each other. Like I said, these cards are very good, but I only run 2 because the third one is always a brick in my hand. And for a brick, people who don't understand, it's basically the card was as useful as a brick. You could do only so much with it. Now, time for the main monster. I run 3 copies of Blue-Eyes White Dragon. Basically, without these 3 cards, this deck would not work. It is a normal monster with no effect, but he helps get everything off. So if I did not have these cards inside this deck, it would not work. But I do thank you guys for watching this deck profile. If you do want more, just comment. Remember, please like and subscribe. Use promo code Klumzy Gaming on mypirate.com or nonamenerd.com for 10% off. They have good quality products. Like I said, I don't just talk about it. I actually have God Mode right here, which is Lethal Lemonade, and I actually have my custom jersey coming in soon. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.